video is to allow you to correct the homework from 7.3.2. The problems are 796 through 7100. So on your paper, they wanted you to copy this chart and then complete 2 trials by reading the algebraic expressions, write in your steps. So for completing the trials, what you need to do is to choose some values. So they have an x term for an algebraic expression. So that step, of course, would be pick a number. So maybe you're going to pick 6, and maybe you're going to pick 2. It's up to you what you choose. Then we can see that the next algebraic expression is 6x, which means we're going to multiply that previous number by 6. So we'd put multiply by 6, and then 6 times 6 would be 36, and 2 times 6 is 12. I apologize, I'm having trouble writing with my mouse today. And then we can see that we've added 24. So our step would be add 24. And when we add 24, I'll try to do that with a keyboard, see if it's a little neater. You'd get 60 here, and 12 plus 24 would give you 36. Okay. Then how did we get from 6x plus 24 to 6x plus 18? Well, we must have taken away 6, because to go with plus 24 to plus only 18 means we've subtracted 6. So now my value here would be 54, and my value here would be 30. Again, you do not have to have the same numbers I do. It's just a matter of whatever you chose. I'm just giving you an example. These steps, however, do have to be the same. And then how did we get from 6x plus 13 to x plus 3? So one way to think of that is when we have 6x plus 13, we can write that as 6 times the quantity x plus 3. How come? Because of the distributive property. So since 6 times the quantity x plus 3 is the same as 6x plus 18, it's another way to rewrite it. And we know with the distributive property, 6 times x would give us 6x, 6 times 3 would give us 18. So then if we can think of 6x plus 18 as 6 times the quantity x plus 3, how did we get just x plus 3? Well, we must have divided by that 6. So divide by 6 is the next step. 54 divided by 6 would be 9. 30 divided by 6 would be 5. And then we have x plus 3, which we already just said, but now we just get 3. So what did we do to get from x plus 3 to 3? We must have subtracted the x. Well, what's the x? It's the original number. So subtract the original number. Well, if I take 9 and I subtract 6, I'll get 3. If I take 5 and I subtract 2, I'll get 3. And of course, if you've done it right, you should get 3 for both trials. Again, choose different numbers than what I have. That's not a difficult process, but make sure that the steps are the same and that you understand how to get from the algebraic expression to the steps. Here, you have to translate these into a variable expression like we found in our number chart. So in other words, you're going to create things like this. So pick a number and multiply it by 7. You would write that as 7 times x. X would be your number. Multiplying it by 7 means we write it as 7x. Pick a number and divide it by 8. Well, now it would be x divided by 8. Now I would take any of these formats. X divided by 8 written this way, x divided by 8 written this way, or 1/8 times x is the same as dividing x by 8. Pick a number and reduce it by 10. Well, reduce, of course, means to decrease it, or in other words, to subtract. So picking a number, reducing it by 10. And then for 4, pick a number, add 2, then multiply by 5. So the key here is the then. So we're going to show that we first took x and added 2. We'll put that in parentheses. Then multiply by 5 means that entire thing needs to be multiplied by 5. So that's why I have the 5 in front of that parentheses. Or, again, if you use your distributive property, you could rewrite this. 5 times x is 5x plus 5 times 2 is 10. Here you have to complete your portions web. We've got this decimal. We need fraction, percent, words. So 33 hundredths, of course, is the same as 33 hundredths as a fraction. It cannot be simplified. It's also the same as 33%. Move your decimal 2 places to the right, add a percent sign. And in words, it's 33 hundredths. For simplifying these, again, make sure you're showing your steps. So for the first one, I should see the keep change flip, that you're going to make it 3/7 times 5 halves. Okay, that's the kind of work I'm looking to see. And of course, final answer is also simplified. So you get 15/14, which is 1 1/14. Here, I should see that you change the 1 2/3 to an improper fraction. But remember, you're multiplying, so it's not a keep change flip scenario. You end up getting this. And here I should see your steps in terms of order of operations. Make sure you show your work. Just having an answer of 9 is not adequate. Here, what would these values have to be so the fractions are equivalent? Well, 30 divided by 5 is 6, so 35 divided by 5 would give us a value of 7. You could also think of it as multiplying by 1/5. It would be the same as dividing by 5. 8, we have to figure out what it should be multiplied by to get this missing number, or divided by. Well, in this case, 40 divided by 8 is 5. 8 divided by 8 would be 1. And 20 divided by 5 is 4. 15 divided by 5 is 3.